So at the end of day 10, Asashoryu in the lead, 9 wins and 1 loss. The 1 loss he suffered when he fought Kyokushuzan, fellow Mongolian. And behind him, Chiyotakai, Toki and Buyuzan with 8 wins and 2 losses. Chiyotakai with his attendants, it's Skebito. Higher they go, the more attendants they have. They will have to be paid for by the out of the earnings of the higher ranked man. Now we move on to day 11, and the first of our bouts of day 11 is Shimotori and Wakanoyama. Wakanoyama here, the hairy one, specializes in very low tachi-ai, comes out, head quite low. It would appear he could be pushed down, but he don't push down that easily. So Wakanoyama now locking both arms in there, rocking the other wrestler side to side, changes of direction, staying in very close to him, and there's a final push in the chest that dumps him amongst the audience. So that quality in sumo of staying close to the other wrestler is known as nebari, sticky. That's it, they have to stay close to the other man, not give him any room to maneuver. Out Kotoryu has got 6 wins so far, and here fighting Toki. These two have fought 9 times, and of that 9, Toki has won 8. Toki, the rough fighter, never won any prizes in his sumo career. He just wins, just enough. But Kotoryu finally gets a win against Toki. So 2 wins that he's had against him now in their 10 fights that they've had. Toki suffers his 3rd loss, and that was 7th win for Kotoryu. Asanowaka, one-time flamboyant character, here fights Iwakiyama. He's the intellectual of the sumo world. Doesn't look it. Sumo men not noted for their sharpness, shall we say. But Iwakiyama winning there with a straight oshidashi. He's the man who's signed up to do a course at the Aomori University Graduate School. Next now, Asasekiryu is 136 kilos, which is almost the same as Asashoryu. Asasekiryu is a rival of Kasugao, rival in the sense he regards him as a rival. The wrestlers tend to set up these rivalries. And here fighting Gojoro, who just jumps out of the way of Asasekiryu. That's experience showing, but it's Asasekiryu that almost had him, almost drove him out there at the end, but it's only because his feet skidded away that he went down. Well, the judges want to question that one. Well, it's pretty clear there. Asasekiryu did touch down first. Well, they say the referee was wrong. It was Sashi Chigai. So they've awarded the other way. The referee didn't give it to Gojoro, he gave it to Asasekiryu, but it's quite clear that Gojoro was last to step out. So now it's a no-show, win by default. Takanotsuru's dropped out. He had a bad shoulder injury a few days back. And Kasugao, the Korean, goes through with a rest and a win. So that's a 3rd win for Kasugao. Yotsukasa, when he usually ignores the belt, comes out, pushes hard to the face, throat. See if he repeats that. Well, they're meant to harmonise, of course. Never quite sure what they're meant to harmonise. It says there they should harmonise their breathing in the rule book, but you would think they'd have to harmonise the whole movement of the crouch down. Squat down together, hands down together, and then go, but it's rarely quite like that. Well, it's Hokutoriki there, who's weathering the storm. That's a throat thrust, and it's Yotsukasa whose legs skid away. You see the sand on his chest there, sand that's scattered over the top of the clay surface. mixed with salt, the salt that they chuck on the ring. So Hokutoriki takes that one, and that's a fourth win for him. Now Miyabiyama, well, when he was an amateur, he never won any major amateur tournaments. Always did quite well, but not many gold medals here. Fighting Jumonji. And Miyabiyama uses his 177 kilos and just straight arms Jumonji out of the ring with oshidashi. That's the name of the game. Shove them outside the ring or knock them down inside. Whoever touches outside the ring with any part of the body loses. And inside the ring you can walk on it, but that's all that can touch. Whoever touches down with any part of the body other than the soles of the feet inside the ring loses. That's Chiotakai there, getting a little bit of warm-up practice from one of his attendants, Tochiazuma, having his hair done. Hairstyle was the common hairstyle in Japan up to about 1868, and then when Japan modernized by decree, the hairstyle was banned for most of the population except for the sumo men. Sumo men asked to keep it, and so that's why they have this particular hairstyle. Here, it's Kaiho disposing of Tamarikido quite nicely. At the same time as that they were allowed to keep the hairstyle, the general population were not allowed to wear swords. So up to that point, the samurai could wear two swords, and they had that hairstyle. Then it was banned. Now we have Aminishiki, who's got a brother in the Makushita division, Aso Fuji, and also his opponent here, Tamanoshima, has also got a brother in the Makushita division, Tamano Kuni. So it's in the family, and that's a nice one there. Tamanoshima shoves him out, follows him a second afterwards, and the pair of them crash into the audience. Occasionally the audience gets injured, as do the referees. Now Takanonami going through the crouch down rituals, the shikiri. He's fighting Takamisakari. Takanonami is about 30 kilos heavier than Takamisakari, but Takamisakari's faded a bit in his last. He's lost the last two fights. He was doing quite well up to about day 5 or so, and then at one point he lost the timing. Didn't realise the bout was about to start. Now there he's going ahead of the timing, so it looks like he's lost the plot a little bit at this point. But there again, Takanonami, this man here, is known for his out-of-sync crouch downs. So there we go again. And there's the chief judge telling the wrestlers to get a grip, in particular Takamisakari. And eventually they go as a slap from Takanonami right at the start. He whacks Takamisakari's face, and now they're waltzing round the ring together, but eventually Takamisakari's feet pop over the edge. Well, that was an interesting psychological battle there. Takanonami out-psyched him on the crouch downs, and then when they finally went for it, he opened up with a huge slap to Takamisakari's face, a slap known as harite in sumo. That shook him a bit, then he locked his big arms round, lifted him up and waltzed him round the ring. 4th win for Takanonami, 7th loss for Takamisakari. Now Tosunoumi versus Kyokutenho. Kyokutenho likes the belt. He says with the belt you can stay very close to the opponent. That's that sticky nebari. And also it says it finds it easier to stay in the ring. Well, Kyokutenho lunges into that one. Looked like he was about to drop down, but just about managed to stay on his feet until Tosunoumi had gone outside the ring. So that was 8th loss for Tosunoumi. That's Makikoshi for him. 2 previous bashos he had 8 wins apiece, so that's drop in standards for him, and that was 7th win for Kyokutenho. Next, Dejima on the right, facing Tochino Nada. These two have fought many, many times, 20 times. And of that lot, Dejima's won 14. Usually when there's an imbalance, a big imbalance like this, it tends to perpetuate itself. get into a kind of mindset where they think they're going to lose every time. Well, that was a brief but violent fight. Dejima pushes in hard against Tochi Nonada, who goes sailing out. So Dejima takes his 15th win against Tochi Nonada with oshidashi, a push out. Chio Takai there, he's coming up against Tochi Azuma shortly. Here's the man, he's going to fight. Tochi Azuma looks like he's put on a bit of weight. Now we have Mongolian Kyokushuzan against Kaiho. Well, Kaiho, when he's on form, is real Yokozuna class. He's not consistent though, that's the problem. But when he's good, he's very good. Should be able to handle Kyokushuzan on the left here without too much trouble. Well, the wrestlers are jumping the gun quite a bit in this basho. Sumo authorities try and enforce these start rules, but most of the wrestlers don't like them at all. So they settle down again, hands down, and then it's a throat thrust, double throat thrust from Kyokushuzan. Kaiho just casually puts his heavy right arm on the back of Kyokushuzan's neck and pulls him down. So Kaiho wins that one. That's the 8th win for him. And Kachikoshi, and he wins some prize money as well. That's a good view of the design of the ring. Looks very much like the Eastern mandalas, the Indian mandalas, which have symbolic significance, spiritual significance, some would say. Now we have Chio Takai against Tochi Azuma. These two have fought 18 times. Tochi Azuma has won 11 of them. Brief glimpse there of Chio Takai tasting the salt before he comes out for the final crouch down and the charge forward. Chio Takai will come out like a rocket. Tochi Azuma, well, he's not on form, so I suspect he's going to go out. Well, there's the charge, there's the Tsupari. Almost gets sidesteps at the end. Tochi Azuma got out the way right on the edge there, but lost his balance as he did it. But it was close though. There's the thrust of Tsupari from Chio Takai under the chin, and they're already, Tochi Azuma's feet had already gone out. So win there for Chio Takai, 9th win for him. So he's still trailing closely behind Asa Shoryu. Now Musoyama needs to win this one. In fact, he needs to win all his bouts from now on, because that way he'll stay at Ozeki rank, otherwise he'll drop down from it. Here fighting Kotonowaka. Both these wrestlers 175 kilos apiece. Musoyama goes under the armpits, tries to float Kotonowaka up, which he does, and then he transfers it into a pushdown. It's very neatly done there. Musoyama's hands came under both armpits of Kotonowaka, pushed him up hard, floated his weight up, and then flipped him over with a throw. So 5th win for Musoyama, 5th loss for Kotonowaka. Now it's a concluding bout of day 11. Asa Shoryu against Wakano Sato. They've met 12 times in the past, and Asa Shoryu's won 7 of them, so not such a great difference between the two, but psychologically there's a big difference. Asa Shoryu's the grand champion, and Wakano Sato is a mere sekiwake, and that counts. And Asa Shoryu absolutely overflowing with fighting spirit. Tokon in Japanese. Much beloved by the crowd. Well, he's admired for that, if not so much his composure in and out the ring. So that's a swift touchy eye from Asa Shoryu. Looks straight in on Wakano Sato. Wakano Sato now got those arms round. He's a smaller wrestler, he's going to lift him up. He gets him right to the edge. Asa Shoryu fights back, drives his right leg back to stop him, powers forward, and then drives Wakano Sato out towards the edge of the ring. Wakano Sato tries to twist and then gets dumped down on his face. So the lighter, very much lighter, Asa Shoryu, handling the heavier, stronger wrestler without too much trouble. I say heavier, but Asa Shoryu is pretty strong himself. There you see the two hands round there. And he's driving forward. That's the beginning of the end for Wakanosato. Tries a turn and a flip there. Desperate next row, but loses it entirely. 10 straight wins and 1 loss for Asa Shoryu. And 4th loss for Wakanosato. So at the end of day 11, it's Asa Shoryu in the lead with 10 wins and 1 loss. Behind him, 2 wrestlers, Chio Taikai and Buyuzan, 9 wins and 2 losses. And behind those two, Toki and Kaiho with 8 wins and 3 losses.